Welcome back to Harbor. With the release of that audio tape we played following his arrest for soliciting sex in an airport bathroom, is Senator Larry Craig of Idaho a bad apple, or is his party a bad bunch of apples? Before we begin the Harbor debate, let's listen to Senator Craig try to explain why his foot was in the stall of that undercover police officer.
I'm a fairly wide guy. I understand. I tend to spread my legs when I lower my pants so they won't slide. Okay. Did I slide them too close to yours? Did I looked down once your foot was close to mine? Yes. Did we bump? You said so. I don't recall that, but apparently we were close.
Yeah. Well, your foot did touch mine on my side of the stall.
All right.
Okay.
U.S. Congressman Jim Moran from Northern Virginia is a Democrat. John Feehery is a Republican strategist. He was a top aide to former House Speaker Dennis Hastert. Let me read a statement to you both, gentlemen. This is from the Republican National Committee. It just came out late this afternoon. We are disappointed in the matter. It has been referred to the Senate Ethics Committee, so they will have to deal with it. It doesn't sound too strong. John Feehery.
Well, you know, I think that the RNC is going to have to say what they're going to say. The fact of the matter is, this is, for most people, this whole incident is absolutely disgusting. I think people are disgusted with it. I think that a lot of Republicans are saying, you know, why doesn't Larry Craig just kind of resign and let's get on to the next subject? I think it's really important for us as Republicans to think that it's time for Larry Craig to go.
Oh, but your leadership hasn't said this yet.
Well, they almost did. I mean, the Senate stripped him of some key committees, and you know, people just are disgusted by the whole incident. And it's not. This is not about homosexuality or anything like that. It's about this happening at a public restroom. I think people you know, think about bringing their kids into public restrooms and this kind of activity, and it's outrageous. It's disgusting, and people don't like it.
Congressman Moran, what do you make of the Republican Party on this thing, especially Mr. Craig's voting record? What does it tell you about his real life?
Well, as you know, Chris, the reason the story has legs is because he's run as a rigid moral conservative. And now he's denying things that can be proven to be the case. And the difficulty, I think, that the Republican Party has had is that when you run on being the party of strict moral values, it does some of the members because we're all human. Yeah. But when you claim to be when you take a self-righteous stance, and I think it really started in the 1980s, you know, with the God, guns, and gays, all the cultural issues, abortion and immigration and so on, it's a platform of intolerance. What we really need is to be tolerant of individuals and you know, say this is their life, let's leave them alone. The problem is it becomes public when they attest, when really they condemn other people for their own behavior. You know, the Republican Party wouldn't tolerate Barney Frank in it. We embrace Barney because he's a terrific legislator. He's a brilliant guy. He's doing a great job as chairman. And as far as we're concerned, his personal life is that. But when you take the personal life and you make it public by claiming to be superior to others, and that's why you should elect me because I'm morally superior, that's when you get in trouble. What goes around comes around, and it's come around to a guy that really has been fairly self-righteous throughout his political career.
John Feehery, let me ask you about a couple of phrases that I don't think you're as old as Jim and I. Jim and I went to school together, but I remember a phrase from the Republican Party, Gene Kirkpatrick back in '84, giggling at the Democratic Party as the San Francisco Democrats. Giggling. You know, this thing isn't new. Ohio this year turned on the issue of gay marriage. The Republican Party has been masterful at exploiting the Democratic Party's toleration of gay people, in fact, support for their rights. And now you're saying, what? How does that fit into the platform language, the battle cries, the clever electioneering?
Chris, the issue here with Larry Craig really is not about homosexuality. It's about lewd conduct in a public restroom. Now, gay marriage, you know, the fact of the matter is that many Democrat presidential candidates came out against gay marriage, so this is not just a Republican-Democrat issue. Now, on the issue of, let me say this.
Well, what does the phrase San Francisco Democrats sound like to you?
San Francisco,
if that's not gay bashing, I don't know what it is.
Well, it's not just, it's also a way way of life. It's also the fact that they're extremely liberal. I mean, Nancy Pelosi is, is not gay, but she's very liberal.
That charge was made before Nancy was elected to anything. What are you talking about? That was back in '84. Your party's been living on this stuff. Come on.
Well, San Francisco, I think people see that as being out of touch with the values of the middle of America. And it gets to the point where the Republican message needs to be. And that is, and Jim was talking about hypocrisy. There's a lot of hypocrisy in Washington on both sides.
Okay.
And that's why people hate Washington. And the fact of the matter is Republicans need to get back to the message of getting government smaller, more limited government, get out of people's lives, and get power and money out of Washington, D.C.
Well, Congressman Moran, your view on this, is this going to hurt the Republican Party's ability to sell itself as the Pharisees in the temple, if you will?
Well, there are inconsistencies here. I've known John for a long time, and I like John. We're good friends. But the issue of small government. How about the abortion issue? How about leaving women to make their own decisions? How about letting people, regardless of their sexual orientation, make those kinds of decisions? Why does government have to intrude in people's personal lives? That's the inconsistency. And I think we find a number of inconsistencies, and that's why it's coming back to haunt some members of the Republican Party. Now, Chris, restate that. I just had to respond to John there. What's the question?
Okay. You know what? My answer is time's up, Mr. Moran. Thank you very much.
Well,
John
I wanted
Feehery,
to get that comment in.
John Feehery, coming on tonight was like playing the Washington Generals against the Globetrotters. It was a tough night. But anyway, thank you.
I guess I was the Generals, huh, Chris?
Washington Generals. Up next.